This is the People versus Eric Jones, calling case P867701. Count 1, improper plates. Count 2, driving unregistered or untitled vehicle. Count 3, failure to display a valid operator's license. Today's the day set for a pretrial appearance.
For the record, Your Honor, Robert Down on behalf of the defendant. Please state your name for the record, sir.
Eric Jones.
Your Honor, I've explained the difference between a jury trial and a bench trial to my client. My client wishes to waive his constitutional right to a jury trial and asks that this court to set a bench trial date.
Okay. Mr. Jones, did anybody threaten to force you or promise you anything for you to waive your right to a jury trial?
No.
Okay, I will continue your not guilty plea and set your trial date for January 28th at 8:30 a.m.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
I need to get. I think there was a misunderstanding. I need to get this over with as quick as possible. So I'm ready to do whatever I got to do to get this over with.
All right. Then, Your Honor, we would ask that, pursuant to the memorandum of understanding, that my client plead to the driver's license count and the other 2 counts be dismissed.
Okay. Mr. Jones, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to speak to Attorney Donald in private today about your case and about your rights?
Yes.
Did anyone threaten, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for your plea today?
No.
Plead guilty on your own free will.
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you're actually guilty?
Yes.
You understand that pleading guilty today will waive your right to a trial.
Yes.
Knowing that you're waiving that right, you wish to continue and plead guilty.
Yes.
I'd like to bring your attention to April 15th, 2017, around 9:33 a.m. in the area of Finkel and Southfield in the city of Detroit. We're operating a 2002 silver Isuzu vehicle without an operator's license on your person.
Yes.
Satisfied, Your Honor. Stipulate your probable cause in the outstanding matters.
Okay, I will dismiss those outstanding matters. And for sentencing purposes, Mr. Jones, I'm going to waive your fines and costs. So it's going to save you about $240 today. Do you have any questions?
Okay. No.
Okay, you're all set. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. You too.
You're welcome. Mr. Frazier.
Yes, ma'am.
His offer is for failure to display.
All right.
Mr. Frazier, go ahead and hit join on your screen. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome, George.
All right. You got it. Attorney White, you know what I just realized? There is no updated, oh, there is, okay. Good, never mind. So the offer from the prosecution is for her to dismiss all counts except for 2 2 counts will have the delayed sentence for 12 months, and that's contingent on paying restitution to the victims.
Yes, myself and Ms. Rogers did communicate regarding that offer. I do have an email from her. If I could just get a breakout room with Ms. Jones, I can come back and let you know.
I just want to be clear, the victims meaning the owners of the dogs, or are we talking about animal control?
No, what the offer from the people was the 12-month delay, plead guilty to 2 counts, the remaining to be dismissed with restitution for the 2 dogs to be paid to Mr. Davis and Ms. Shepard. According to Ms. Rogers, I guess the value is $750 for Mr. Davis, $500 for Ms. Shepard.
Okay, Ms. Yanni Jones, I know you're doing it here, but I need you to stop for a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
And go ahead and head into breakout room so Attorney Whitey can talk to you about the offer that we just discussed on the record here.
Okay.
So hit join on your screen. It should have popped up. I have a question.
I'm sorry, Mr. Frazier. I got kicked off.
Okay.
So, as I was saying, you've got a no driver's license ticket and a no insurance ticket. Wait a minute. We're back in courtroom.
We're in the courtroom now.
All right, go back to the breakout room.
Okay. So how do I go back?
Oh, no. Mr. Frazier, at the bottom, you should see where it says breakout rooms. Go ahead and hit on that, and it'll give you the option to go back into the breakout room.
Oh, that's at the top, not at the bottom.
Oh, okay. You found it though, right?
This ain't working out here.
Okay. Are you ready on Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Sorry about that, Judge. Hit unmute. I believe we just need to wait for Ms. Rogers. I know she requested an appearance on this one.
She needs to show up because it's 10:10.
Yep. Yeah, no, she's apparently, she's sending me a message. She's on the way.
Okay.
All right.
I have some questions. Maybe you could spend this time asking your client as far as dates as to when she contacted animal control first about having her dog released, and how many times she, or any date or timeline regarding her trying to retrieve her dogs from animal control.
Okay. Okay, Judge, you want to just put us in the breakout room, I guess, or for that?
Yeah, you guys can go back in the breakout room too.
Oh, Judge, and just so you're aware, did the court find any authority based on the fees that they were discussing?
No.
I did another check on our break. Okay, alrighty. We'll head to the breakout room.
Ms. Jones, go ahead and go back in breakout room 2. You gotta go find the breakout room 2, but it's there on your screen. Do you see where? Oh.
Mr. Frazier is securing some paperwork, Your Honor, that he believes that these matters were already adjudicated and taken care of, and they are erroneously back before you. So I'm ready to take care of Mr. Fields and Mr. Frierson while he does that.
You know what? He's actually right. Well, no, that's not what it says. We'll check and confirm. All right, let's put you in with Mr. Riddell Jenkins.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr.
Huh?
1 second. I have to recreate. Oh, good. They're out. Okay. No, they're still. Okay, Attorney Donald, the clerk checked and said they're still open, but of course he has the right to find.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Clerk checked and Mr. Frazier's cases are still open, but if he has something different, of course, we'll hear from him about that.
Okay, that's fine. And then Mr. Jenkins, is the offer improper plate?
Yes. And the rest to be dismissed.
Should I
Mr. Jenkins?
join the breakout room?
Yes, go ahead and join it.
Okay.
Ms. Jones, we're just waiting on the prosecutor.
Okay.
What is that? You know, I just put it back in the file, I guess.
He sent on that, I guess. I don't know why
He's trying to show his proofs.
Your Honor, Mr. Jenkins is unclear as to the issue date and the vehicle on the ticket.
Okay, we have a 2002 red Ford vehicle and a 2005 Nissan. It's two different instances. Let's see. One date is August 19th, 2020, and that's with the red Ford vehicle. And August 16th, 2019, so basically a year earlier with the 2005 Nissan.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
So you know what, he said he was going to work, I think, and they gave him a ticket for his obeying executive order. He was showing proof. But we should read this.
Yeah. I didn't know. Mail it back to him or put it in the. Yeah.
You know, back to
Yeah.
we should not have that information. It's on work. Yeah. Mr. Frazier?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you know you have a ticket for no operator's license, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're gonna have to stop operating the vehicle while you're in court.
I'm not in Michigan, ma'am. I'm in Alabama.
I'm sure it's against the law in Alabama to conduct court hearings while driving.
So I'm sorry, you want me to pull the car over and stop driving?
Yes.
Okay, I have to wait till I get to the next exit. So I'm on the highway.
That's fine. I want to talk to you about something, but I'm not going to do it while you're driving because I'm not going to distract you. If something happens to you, then it's going to be another issue.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
So when you have pulled over, I'll know and then I'll call your case because I pulled your cases. So when you pull over, we'll talk, okay? Okay. Let's take care of Miss Emily Jones. Okay, we are on the record. This is People versus Yanni Jones. Calling cases B11202226. Unlawful to interfere or obstruct a police officer or animal control officer performing duties. B112027. Failure of owner to keep dog on property. B119496. Harboring an unlicensed dog. B119499. Failure to vaccinate dog for rabies or produce proof of vaccination against rabies. B119497. Harboring an unlicensed dog. B119500. Harboring a dog which by loud frequent barking cause a public nuisance. And B119498. Failure to vaccinate for rabies or produce proof of vaccination against rabies. Parents?
Sydney Rogers for the PLP.
And
Dennis Whitey for Ms. Jones, P79560, who's also present by Zoom.
And before we get started, Attorney Donald, I'm going to put you in with Mr. Fields. Mr. Fields, go ahead and unmute your phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead and hit join. And his offer is for opening tax as a passenger. Mr. Jenkins, just hold tight, okay? All right, back to Ms. Jones. Today's the date for a pretrial for all the matters except for one, which is set for a trial. But today we're dealing with also the issue of the request from the people to receive $4,480 from the defendant for housing the dogs, correct?
That is correct. And I have made my plea contingent on restitution to the victims of $1,250 for the cost of the dogs that were killed by the defendant's dogs that were deemed dangerous.
Okay, and Attorney Whitey, you are aware of that number?
That's correct, Your Honor. Myself and my client discussed that matter. She finds that figure to be acceptable as part of the plea deal. She does wish to take advantage of the plea offer. Of course, Judge, I need to reserve argument outside of the plea for the housing cost.
Okay, Ms. Jones, I don't think I got your appearance. Can you state your name for the record?
Yanni Jones.
Okay, good morning, Ms. Jones.
Good morning.
Okay, so we're, the offer here is for Ms. Jones to plead guilty to 2 counts. That'd be for failure of owner to keep dog on owner's property, as well as the unlawful interference of a police officer performing duties counts, with a recommendation for a 12-month delayed sentence, with the remaining counts to be dismissed, which is contingent on paying restitution to the victims. And the number we have here is for $1,250. Is that everybody's understanding?
That is correct.
Correct, Judge.
Is it correct your client would like to take that offer?
That's correct.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Judge, I did not add in at the beginning. I would like the restitution as a condition of probation, so then it can be easily followed that she is paying back the victims instead of just a court order.
Okay,
And Judge,
so-
yeah, we would have no objections to that. Ms. Jones can get that entirely paid in 90 days, so that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, we'll talk about that. I think it may be a better way to do it. Maybe even a payment plan program.
I just asked for probation because I've run into issues that restitution wasn't a condition of probation, that then it gets transferred to a civil court and my quarter. So I'm sorry. Yes.
Thank you.
I was only asking for the restitution as a part of probation because I have in previous cases had issues with restitution not being paid. and then it simply gets transferred to a civil court, and my order is kind of just lingering. So that's why I asked for a condition of probation. But if she can pay potentially within 90 days, maybe we could do a review date in 90 days and go from there.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what's easy. If it works, we'll stick with that.
I've never done it that way. I've had issues because I didn't do it that way.
Okay, got it. All right, so 1 second, Mr. Frierson.
Yes.
I'm gonna push you into a breakout room to speak to Attorney Donald about your case, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
This offer is for as charged with 12 months delay. Go ahead and hit the join button, Mr. Frierson. Okay. Okay, Ms. Jones, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have the opportunity to speak to your attorney today, Attorney White, in private about your case and about your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for your plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty on your own free will?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you pleading guilty because you're actually guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand, Ms. Jones, that pleading guilty today will waive your right to a trial?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing that you're waiving that right, you want to continue and plead guilty?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to bring your attention to on or about February 13th, 2019 through February 15th, 2019. At the location 16825 Normandy in the city of Detroit. Did you have, or did you own, I should say, 2 dogs at that time?
Yes.
And did you fail to keep those dogs on your property?
Yes.
And also, at some point in between those dates, did you interfere or obstruct a police officer or animal control officer who was trying to perform their duties?
Yes.
Okay, satisfied?
Satisfied, Judge.
Okay, I will accept your guilty pleas, Ms. Jones, and I will dismiss the remaining counts before the court. Is there a stipulation of probable cause?
We'd stipulate, Judge.
Okay, and for sentencing purposes, as I discussed, the prosecutor has written here on the offer form that the offer is contingent upon Ms. Jones paying the $1,250, which adds up for the value of the 2 dogs that were killed by Ms. Jones' dogs. So I will require Ms. Jones to pay that. I will adopt a 12-month delay sentence. Ms. Jones, what this means is within 12 months, if you don't pick up any cases, you don't have any issues with any dogs or any misdemeanors regarding these type of issues, those 2 counts you just pled guilty to will be dismissed. So you have an opportunity to have 0 misdemeanors from all of this. You just have 12 months have to go by. Hopefully, after that 12 months too, no issues with your dog ownership or having dogs disturbing the neighborhood. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and for I should say anything for the people regarding sentencing.
Nothing besides the restitution that we are seeking, and that is it. And of course, to be a responsible dog owner after all this, we've had lots of testimony previously in front of this court regarding Ms. Jones' dogs and how they're behaving in the neighborhood and how it's affecting the neighborhood and honestly the whole community. So do not put ourselves or that neighborhood in this position again.
Anything from defense counsel?
Yes, Judge. In essence, we agree. Miss Jones is actually in Atlanta, Georgia now, so there should be no actual issue in the city of Detroit, given that she's no longer in the state. That aside, Judge, we would consent to the $1,250 in restitution. With respect to fines and costs, I believe the ordinance limits the fine to $100 per offense under the animal Control Act, I believe it's called. And so we would ask the court to not exceed, obviously, that and give reasonable consideration with respect to cost. $1,250 is quite a bit of money. This court has heard a lot of testimony regarding this case. Ms. Jones is trying to make right with that. One thing that we did discuss was that she was actually going to, attempt to buy actual dogs to, try to, even though it's not compensation, but to try to mitigate the loss somehow. But this was an easier way for her to do it, is just to do the restitution, Judge. We would reserve argument on the housing cost issue unless the court wants us to address that now, or.
Yeah, so I will order Ms. Jones to pay the $1,250 restitution to the owners of the dogs that are now deceased. As far as how much time to pay that, what does your client need as far as time to pay that amount?
Judge, she stated about 3 months, 90 days would be sufficient.
Okay. And as a request from Ms. Rogers is that basically probation department monitor her payments. Ms. Jones, you're not on probation, but it's a way for the court to monitor to make sure that you have taken care of that payment after 90 days. If for some reason you have not paid it,
I would have took care of it today. The only reason why I haven't, because my auntie died Monday and we taking care of funeral arrangements today, and I'm on my way to Detroit today to help them with that. But it'll be paid with less than 90 days.
You want to just put the 90 days on there?
Yes, I'm fine with not doing it on probation as a probation condition, as long as we do a review date. And if on that review date it's not paid or there's not a good faith effort, then we will revisit it being a probation condition.
Okay.
Judge, if I could suggest, this is kind of the opposite. It might be better just to make it a probation condition, because all the payments would be tracked. Ms. Jones would be, once she satisfies this debt, there'll be a record of it. The complaining witnesses in the case, there'll be a record. The court can monitor it, rather than trying to set a review hearing for her to appear back by Zoom. That might be the easier way to go. Whatever the court, is inclined to do, obviously.
My only issue is I don't want her to be on probation for this.
Okay. Then the review would be the better way then, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I understand it would be easier for tracking, but I don't like people being on probation for things that can hold up employment.
Okay, Judge, and just so you're aware, I was under the, thought process that they would just be handling the payments, that she wouldn't actually be on probation. So I appreciate the way the court's going to handle it.
I don't know if probation can simply just track the payments without her being on probation. And I was asking for it to be a condition of probation, because I believe that's the way it would have to go. Okay. If there's a better way to do this, whatever's the easiest way, that's just the way I've done it previously. But I would be dealing with larger amounts of money too.
Let's try the 90 days. Ms. Jones, we have faith in you. It's just going to go ahead and pay it. I don't want you on probation. We'll revisit in 90 days if something has happened. So we'll do the cases that are on the docket today. And as far as the request from the people for the $4,000 odd, anything from the people on that request?
Yes. As this court has asked me to provide additional documentation of how we reached the amount of money that we did for the boarding costs, looking at Detroit City Code, Chapter 6, Section 3.3, it says further into the section, the animal may be seized, impounded at owner's expense by animal care and control. So it says that we can seek boarding money. It does not say in the section how much can be sought, but I did speak to Director of Animal Control, Mark Kump, which did testify in this court at our last hearing, and he told me that the posted boarding fee for quarantine is $250 for 10 days, or $25 a day. The agency then charges $25 per day after hold ends. Staff advised that regular fees for an impoundment were $90 for first impoundment, $180 for second, and $250 for third. Typically, impound is typically 8 days. Staff then advised that it's $10 per day for extra days. Both of these dogs have been subject to the $250 quarantine fee for the extra days. So here, instead of, we actually could have sought more money from the $250 from the upfront fee, but we did not do it that way. We just did a $10 even fee for each day. So we actually underassessed the cost, but I'm not changing my request. I'm keeping it what I originally requested was $10 per day per dog, which is, I believe, $4,460.
Anything from defense?
Yes, Judge. First, with respect to the ordinance itself, obviously this court's aware of my objections about the crafting of this ordinance at our last evidentiary hearing. It appears
Now she know I'm
that
not
they
paying
can
it.
seek some type of expense for the housing, but of course, I think again the ordinance is vague. It just leaves it at the whim of animal control to set a fee, and then the court's, I guess, supposed to follow it per the ordinance. I think under the ordinance, the people still would not have authority. Besides that, Judge, with respect to the amount, if the court does find that there's authority, the $4,480, I think, is wholly out of proportion. Let's keep in mind that my client did try to retrieve her dogs within the 10 days. She was trying to get her dogs back. Obviously, things were delayed because of COVID. She could not get her dogs back. She couldn't even get a court hearing. The animal control didn't even file to destroy these dogs at any point in time until the very, last 2 months, I believe. So I think since it's impossible for her to even try to retrieve the dogs or with due process, get everything handled in a timely manner, and I believe the city has the obligation and the burden on this. I think $4,480 would be wholly inadequate. If they're saying $10 a day per dog, then I think that should be limited to the first 10 days. And that's pretty much our argument, Judge. We just think we would object to that entire amount.
I would agree with Mr. Whitey's assertion that it should be limited to the first 10 days if Ms. Jones would have appealed the decision in a timely fashion within the 10 days that she was allowed. However, she did not appeal the dogs being determined dangerous and being held until July, which I believe was over 100 days after the time that she should have appealed. So her appeal was not timely, so it makes that point moot here. $10 a day per dog is very reasonable for your dogs to be housed, fed, and taken care of for such an extended period of time. This is a reasonable request we have that from holding the dogs for so long. And we're also not asking for medical, which would be very expensive considering one dog had bone cancer and both dogs were euthanized, which also costs money. We did not ask for that either, or the $250 per dog impound fee. We're very reasonable in asking this court for boarding costs.
And Judge,
Okay.
if I could, brief response to that. Again, if the city had a limited period of time to file with this court to have the animals destroyed, they sat on it as well. Just to lay this completely at Ms. Jones's doorstep, I think is wholly inappropriate. We heard from our evidentiary hearing that given COVID, there was limited operations. She did attempt, Judge, to go and retrieve her dogs, and that was, way before this entire incident began. They sat on it, they waited, the costs were driven up, but they didn't file in a sufficient amount of time either, Judge. And I think to lay completely at Ms. Jones's doorstep is inappropriate. And none of that, she's already paying the restitution and costs and things like that, Judge. I just think that would be unreasonable given the totality of the circumstances.
Okay. So I do believe is the amount requested is overly burdensome based off of the court being closed, not being able to have a hearing. Ms. Jones did, based off of what I'm hearing today, an argument, did attempt to retrieve her dogs. She did not do it in a sophisticated way by requesting an appeal, which sometimes I know can be confusing for some people. Just as if working for the water department, I used to handle the board appeals or the water board appeals. At the very bottom fine print, it says you have 28 days to appeal. Sometimes it's not that obvious. It's not saying that she gets a pass because she didn't do it properly, what the ordinance states. This is the new ordinance. There are some issues with certain things with how the court is supposed to handle as far as guidance. Ms. Jones has lost her dogs. I ordered those to be euthanized. She is willing, more than willing to try to repair or mitigate the circumstances and pay for the dogs who were killed as a result of her dogs. And I understand the city does have a budget and we're taking care of her dogs. So I'm going to require her to pay $250 per dog total for housing her dogs during that period. She does have to pay something. Still was her dogs, they were her dogs, her responsibility, but I believe $4,000 is excessive, especially during the pandemic and her not having access to the court, access to animal control to the point where she could resolve the matter sooner. So that would be a total of $500 added to the $1,250. So you're at $1,750. Ms. Jones, if you can't pay that additional $500 within 90 days, let me know and I will set another review date for the other $500 that needs to be paid to animal control. Ms. Jones, can you pay that in 90 days or do you need more time for the additional $500?
No, I said it'll be paid. It'll be paid. I'm gonna make sure I pay it just for you. But as far yeah, that's it. But I just told y'all my auntie passed away, and I don't think that lady in there had nothing to do with that shit.
I can barely hear you. You guys
yeah,
speak up. Okay, and I'm sorry about that. I'm very understanding of that. If you need more time, but I am very willing to give you more time. That's not the issue here. So is there anything else? If not, we will set a review date 90 days.
Submit 2 proposed orders to the court, so this can be a written order too.
Thank you. So her review date, Ms. Jones' review date will be January 20th.
And Judge, just to inquire, if once Ms. Jones pays that, if it's prior to January 20th of 2021, she does not need to actually appear by Zoom that day, correct?
Correct. Ms. Jones, if you take care of the payment by January 20th, 2021, do not bother calling in. You're all set and you don't need to check back in with the court, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Ms. Jones, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am. I don't have none.
Okay, safe travels. Sorry about your aunt.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Go have a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta go to the funeral.
Okay, Attorney Donald, let's get you out of here. Verdell Jenkins?
Yes.
Okay. Calling case SP 1065482, P versus Verdell Jenkins, no insurance. P 1106751, driving unregistered or untitled vehicle. Count 2, no insurance. Count 3, driving while license not valid or improper license. Appearance?
For the record, Your Honor, Robert Donald on behalf of the defendant. Please state your name for the record, sir.
Verdell Jenkins.
Your Honor, I've discussed these matters with my client. I've discussed his constitutional rights. He wishes to waive those rights and ask this court adopt the recommendation of the prosecutor whereby he would plead to improper plate, I believe, Your Honor, and the balance of the matters would be dismissed.
Okay, Mr. Jenkins, can you raise your hand? Do you swear or affirm that the
Yep.
testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And did you have an opportunity to speak to Attorney Donald in private today about your case and about your rights?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. Did anybody threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for your plea?
No.
Are you pleading guilty on your own free will?
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you're actually guilty?
Yes.
You understand pleading guilty today will waive your right to a trial.
Yes.
Knowing that you're waiving that right, you wish to continue and plead guilty.
Yes.
I'd like to bring your attention to August 16, 2019, around 9:07 a.m. in the area of Wyoming and Chalfont in the city of Detroit, where you're operating a 2005 Nissan vehicle without insurance.
Yes.
Satisfied?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Stipulate the probable cause in the outstanding matters.
Okay, I will dismiss those matters. And Mr. Jenkins, I'm amending the charge to 0-point offense of improper plate per the offer, and I'm also going to waive your fines and costs today, so you are at a zero balance, okay?
Okay. And so that's tomorrow too, right?
No, I took care of all of them today, so you don't have to call in tomorrow.
All right. And do I have anything traffic pending?
You don't have any misdemeanors. If you have, you may have some civil infractions. You can check on our website. You Google 36th District Court. Our website will pop up. You can look up your name and pay any tickets online that are left. But I think you took care of them.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Mr. Fields, go ahead and unmute your phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is versus Tyrone Fields, calling case SP 108-67361, open alcohol in a motor vehicle as a driver. Appearance?
For the record, Your Honor, Robert Down on behalf of the defendant. Please state your name for the record, sir.
Tyrone Fields.
Your Honor, I've explained the difference between a bench trial and a jury trial to my client. He's asking for a bench trial in this matter.
Okay, Mr. Fields, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything for you to waive your right to a jury trial?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I will continue your not guilty plea and set your trial date for January 28th at 8:30 a.m., okay?
January the what? You said that date again?
28th.
28th at 8:30.
8:30, and we'll still be on Zoom unless you get a mail notification saying to come into court. I don't think we're going to be there, but just Zoom in and we'll handle it on Zoom, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, you're all set. Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Okay, Mr. Frazier.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, did you say that you took care of these matters? Is that what you were saying?
Yes, because I had went to the Secretary of State, and they told me that I needed to take care of these certain tickets, and I got the paperwork. And when I went online, the ones that showed up with payments is the ones that I paid. This is the paper that they gave me. I can give you the ticket numbers.
Could you give me the ticket number, please?
The first one is going to be 074547862.
Go ahead, keep going. Just keep reading them off.
074547863. 144479351. And
Okay,
14.
That case right there, what does it say about the 1444793 case?
1447931.
Yes, what does your paperwork say about that?
It says suspended, revoked, or denied.
Okay, so you haven't taken care of that one. You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so that's what's on the docket today. And you have 144-79352 for the insured vehicle.
Okay.
So those are the only two that you have left to deal with.
So the other ones is already taken care of.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So Attorney Dunn. This is a